Within the JavaScript ecosystem, there are two popular ways of converting truthy and falsy values to real Boolean true and false. Some people prefer one method more than the other, and in this lesson we will look at the differences between the two and why not should be your main option, so let's go. Let's first look at an example of converting a value to true Boolean and false. Here we have a variable declaring a person's age, and currently it is a number and initialized to the value 0. Now we want this variable has age to reflect whether age is a truthy or a falsy value. And we want to do it by converting age into a real Boolean true or false. Now within JavaScript, we have two main methods of doing that. First is to call the Boolean function, which takes the value and returns true or false. The other way is to use the not operator, which is essentially just a not operator applied twice, which does the same thing of converting a value to real Boolean true or false. Now between the two methods, there is no technical difference in terms of performance or the values that they convert, but this lesson is about the differences, and I definitely prefer the not version more. And the first reason that I can give you is that the code is much shorter. As you can see, with Boolean you have to type more characters and you have to make a function call, whereas not is a simple operator prefixing the value that you want to convert. Now the lack of technical differences between the two is true for JavaScript runtimes, but in terms of JavaScript tooling, there is actually a technical difference, and let's look at that next with a more complicated example. Here we have a function that takes a response object as a passed-in parameter and then tries to use the .value member of this particular response object. Now we get this response from making an API call, and the API will either return an object containing this value of type string, or in the case of an absence of a value, it will return the JavaScript literal null. Now if you want to use this value with our use function, first we have to make sure that the object returned is not null. And we can do that by using a simple truthy check by converting the value from the network into a real Boolean and chaining it with a Boolean AND operator, which will then invoke the use function if a value from network is truthy. And technically, in terms of JavaScript runtime behavior, you can do it with the not operator, or you can use the Boolean function, and both of these statements are exactly the same in terms of their runtime behavior. However, in terms of JavaScript tooling, the first option is better, and we can demonstrate that by taking the exact same code and moving it into a TypeScript file so we get better analysis from our IDE. Of course, the first thing that we will have to do is to annotate what we expect the response object to be. We expect it to be an object containing a value member of type string. And now when we do that, you can see that the not version functions perfectly as expected. However, with the Boolean version, we are getting a compile time error from TypeScript. If you hover over the error, you can see that TypeScript is complaining that even though you've called Boolean, I don't think that really means anything, and therefore the value from the network might still be null. And the reason for that is that the type definition for invoking the Boolean function is pretty simple. It just takes a value and returns a Boolean and doesn't impact the nature of the value in any shape or form. So because a value from network can be null before invoking the Boolean function, as far as TypeScript is concerned, it can still be null after invoking the Boolean function. However, TypeScript does have intrinsic knowledge about the not operator and understands that if that results in a truthy value, it implies that the value from network cannot be null, and we can actually see that when we hover over the value from network variable in the call to the use function. So if you want your TypeScript tooling to properly understand the impact of you doing a truthy check on a value, then you really should be using not instead of using the Boolean function. And honestly, all of your JavaScript tooling is also powered by TypeScript nowadays, so you should be doing that in your JavaScript code as well. And that's all for this lesson. Smash that like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.